Good morning and welcome to this week's Elliott Wave Weekly Market Analysis. You are with Ndibu Victor Mangena. Today we're going to be looking at a few chart or the market overview for the week ahead. The time now is 11 a.m. Standard South African time, which is 9 a.m. GMT. The date is the 14th of August. 2017. Okay, so we are on our fourth webinar since the start. So there are a couple of webinars that I've done in the last 3 weeks. It will really be beneficial if you haven't checked those videos out, especially for Elliott Wave beginners, so those who are just starting out to learn the Elliott Wave method, to familiarize yourself with those videos. And it's also not late in terms of setups, because you find that most of the setups in the previous videos are still valid, or rather they have not played out. So it will really be of value if you can go and have a look at those. So you'll see that every time I mostly post, when I post setups, be it on Instagram, Facebook, or any other media platform, I always say learn the right way. And the reason I say that is, if you're going to use a strategy, you must make sure that you have learned it, you understand it, and you can trade it properly, because at the end of the day, you're trading with money. So it is imperative that whatever you do, you're doing it the right way. It has been tested, back tested, and retested. So I'm going to give you a very good example of the usual mistake that people do when they label the charts using the Elliott Wave method. All right, so we'll do that as we carry on with the charts today. So we're going to start with a chart of the US dollar index. It's called the DXY on TradingView. So this is the chart of the US dollar measured against the basket of other major currencies like your euro, your pound, and all these other currencies. So this is a good measure of the US dollar strength or weakness. So this gives you a very good indication of the market direction. As we know, US dollar is one of the most traded currencies in the forex market. So let's get started. So this is the weekly chart of the dollar index. Okay. So what am I looking at here? All right, so this is what I'm looking at. I'm gonna get my pen out using yellow, make it a bit thick. I'm gonna get the drawing out. All right, so here I can see that we've got an impulse here. After that impulse, we get this correction, and then we get this impulse again. Impulse here again. Then we get this impulse here again. Let me just make sure that this is drawn up properly and straight. So we got this impulse. We've got this impulse again. And we've also got this impulse here. So which tells me I've got 3 impulse moves up. So these impulse moves are labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? But there are rules for this. For this to be a valid wave 3, this must be at least 1,618 extension of wave 1. So let's check if this wave 3 is at the right place. So we take the Fibonacci extension, we measure it from 1 to the end of 1. Just ignore the labeling for now. I'll take it off again. So here we just want to prove that wave 3, this wave 3 here. Let's switch off again. This wave 3, we have to switch it on so that we can see our 1,618. This is our 1,618. Can you see that this wave 3 is under 1,618? So which means this cannot be a wave 3 because it does not really comply to the guidelines. It falls short of the 1,618 area. So in this case, what do we do? So let's look at this. Let's really look at this to see what the correct labeling will be, right? So now this is what I see here. I'm gonna undo this labeling here. So if that is not our 3, we said this is not our 3 because if we take the extension tool from here to here and then back here, this falls short of the 1,618. So it is not a valid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 so far. So what if this was actually doing this 1 and this was 2? What if our 3 is this one here? Okay. What if the sequence is not done yet? And if that is your wave 3, then it means that we are busy building a wave 4 here, and then we're going to have a wave 5, right? So let's check. What will this mean then? Then it will mean, if I change here just to this correction, this is wave 2, is this correction, right? And we'll label that ABC in this degree. That is your wave 2. Okay, so now let's look at this. This, you can see that we've got another impulse up, we got another impulse up, and we've got another impulse up. So we've got 3 impulses. That could be a 1, 2, 3, a wave 4, and a 5. See that? So, but then now, also this wave 3 needs to comply to the rules, right? It needs to be at least at 1,618. Let's check if it complies. Okay, but when I click here, all those drawings are gonna come back. So just focus on this red 3. We're gonna be pulling it from this 0 to 1, back to 2, to check if 3 is at 1,618. Okay, so let's check that. We're gonna pull it. As soon as I click, all those drawings are gonna come back. So just focus, we're gonna switch them off again. Okay, from 0 to 1 to 2. Let's just delete the previous one so that it is not messy. So this is the extension tool that I am pulling. This one was previously pulled between. Let's take it off. Let's just do it again. We are pulling it from here to here and then back, right? Do you see now that this 3 is above the 1,618? So now this is a valid wave count, right? So we've got an internal 3 here in red that complies. So what we had done previously, if we were saying this was a 4 here, or this was a wave 3, then we were going to be wrong, because we were going to be thinking that the sequence was complete. But in actual fact, if we do it properly according to the rules, we can see that the sequence is actually not completed. So this is what I mean by learning the right way. You need to do the right things. You need to apply the theory correctly. So if you have not read all the rules, you do not understand the rules, or you have not read the Elliott wave book properly, don't just go and label the charts 1, 2, 3, 4 without actually knowing what you're doing. So it is important to learn the right way. I'm going to clear out the drawings and just leave the labeling on there. So you can see that what I've done here. So we've got this internal correction. It's a clear A, B, C on wave 2. And then the internal one here, we've got a clear 1, we've got a 2, we've got a 3, we've got a 4, we've got a 5. And this all complies to the rules, right? But remember, this is a 5 internal under this wave 3. So this is our main one, and then a 2, and then a 3, and then a 4. So under this 3, we've got this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which actually complies. But remember, when we said this 3, when this 3 was here, initially our wave 3, we had put it here because we just saw 3 waves, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we were saying this is done now and we're supposed to go down, right? But if we're doing it correctly, we can see that the sequence is still not complete. We are only on wave 4. So that's why it is important to learn the right way. So which means that this is still our larger wave 3. We are still busy building wave 4, and we're still going to get a wave 5. Okay, so we don't know if wave 4 is completed or not, but we're going to go into the lower time frame to just check what the dollar index is doing. Okay, all right, so let's just go and plot in these degrees, and so you can see how we identify the patterns here. So you can see here in I'm going to use the green one here because this is a lower time. This is lower than the yellow. You see there's a pattern here. That is a regular flat. But this one I'm drawing it in red for a good reason, because that's not in the same degree as that one. This one is under the blue. The red one is under the blue. The green one is under the yellow. So the yellow is actually in the same degree as this. You see that? That's 4, and then that's 5. That's what we have. So if we're going to go a degree into the green degree, so this means that this will then be in the same degree as this, because this is just the green under the red. Green under the red. Same thing here. If I had to go lower, just to show the degrees, if I had to go lower, I was going to find something like this, right? So here, same thing. We look like we are now, okay, the green degree was going to do something like this, probably a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 extension in here. So now we are anticipating that we will conclude wave 4. So we don't know where wave 4 is going to conclude for now. So the rule of alternation says normally if wave 1 pulls sharply, if it pulls sharply, then your wave 4, we're looking at the higher degree now, then your wave 4 will be sideways. So it may complete as a triangle. So the dollar index may go sideways from here. Okay, but this is a daily time frame. This is a daily time frame. A weekly time frame. So we may still get trades in the lower time frame. So we had a sharp pullback here. So we may go sideways here. Or if we're looking at this sharp pullback, we may be looking at this sharp pullback, or we could be saying that this went sideways. So if this is the sideways, then it means then we could just have a sharp pullback on wave 4 and then wave 5. That is alternation. According to the wave theory. So what are we looking at now? I'm going to go drill into the lower time frame, clear all the drawings. I'm going to drill in here, just go lower time frame to see what the dollar index is doing. Okay, I'm just loading up my lower time frame. It looks like it was loading a bit slowly. So this is that wave 3. So let's just check what is happening here. So if we were to label this, we may be having a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which could be a wave A. Let's just do this so that we can see all the labelings. Okay, I can take these extensions off. We're just using them to check that the wave 3 complies to the guidelines. Okay, so but then if you look here, we've had this wave down. You just want to see what the dollar index is doing in the lower time frame. So we can see here that we had this impulse move up. That is the impulse move up. So, and then we've got a corrective flag. So normally when that happens, a flag is a continuation pattern. I'm going to go even lower. I'm going to go to the 4-hour time frame so that we can see this clearly. So just focus on this area. I'm going to go to the lower time frame, 4-hour, so we can see what is happening there and how we can trade this. Okay, I'm going to clear the drawings again. So this is the lower time frame. Just want to get that wave 4. We don't know where it's going to complete as yet, but in the meantime, we can get trades in the lower time frame. So what has happened here is this. We had this big candle. I don't trade candles, by the way. We had this candle. So it's an impulse move. So we had the impulse move and this correction in the lower degree. So basically this whole thing is forming a correction. So basically what we had here is a impulse and this correction. So the dollar index looks like we may be pushing higher on the breakout of this correction. So we'll see what price action we get after this. So in the meantime, the dollar index is in this flag, and we don't trade in the flags. We want to trade outside the flags, right? So this is what is happening. So we need to see how this wave 4 is going to conclude. So if it does break out of this flag, we will be buying the US dollar. Okay, so let's look at the euro US dollar pair, see what's going on there. So on this US dollar, on the US dollar pairs last week, we were looking for pullbacks. If you go and look at that video, we've been talking about getting pullbacks or drops on all the US dollar pairs. So just to give an indication of how I was looking at this euro US dollar chart, again, this has been explained in previous videos, but just for that benefit, I'll just do it quickly again, but I won't do everything. And then I'll just switch off the labeling for now so we can do it again with a marker. So here's what we have. We had the impulse down. After the impulse, we had this correction. By now, we know all these corrections and their names, right? So this one does not break the top, ends about at the end of wave A. And we call this, it could have been a regular flat if it was, but regular flat, it just says that it ends at about the area of the end of wave A, which is here. So here it's just a few pips shy of wave A. So we'll still call it a regular flat. Yeah. And then we've got this that looks like a zigzag here. Okay. So after that, so let me just label this one with a different color. So this whole correction, I'm labeling it a W. And this whole correction, I'm labeling it a X. Okay, let's go back to the yellow degree again, because we were in the yellow, we're still identifying the correction in the yellow degree. But you see that this one has made that impulse. So this is why we were looking for a pullback here, in anticipation that this will do this pullback and then move up. But we don't know how long this pullback is going to be. So all we're going to do is we just wait the breakout of this correction, and we already started getting the drop here. So if I had to go back red, so remember, regular, red, zigzag, red, and this one also, all of it in red, will give us a W, X, Y. And then that will give us this red pattern, which will be an expanded flat. An expanded flat breaks the extreme of the swing or the impulse, which you can see that it has broken, and it also breaks the end of wave A or W. Right, so this is what we're looking for, and this is why we were anticipating this drop on the US dollar pairs. As you can, if you remember on the US dollar index, we were looking for a move up, all right, on the break of the correction. But here, we'll be looking as the dollar index goes up, which means the euro must be going down, right? So we'll be going down correctively here on the euro. Okay, so let's look closely for the trade. Here, if I had to go to the lower time frame, in the 4 hour, just take this off again. Just check what is happening with the euro US dollar. So this is that WXY that I had drawn initially. So the pullback that I was talking about is this one here. This is the pullback that I was talking about, which seems to have already started. So we need to see what happens here. So we don't know, as I said, we don't know how long this pullback is going to be, whether it's going to be a WX this size and then go, which already here you can see that we've got an impulse, and now we've got an impulse here, and now seems to be, let me use a different color. We had this impulse, and now this is correcting outside the structure. So if that happens, then we may be going up here, but this is too small. This correction is too small as far as I'm concerned for it to go now. So I'm still expecting a bit more downside, so that this X can either be here or even back to this larger trend line here. So that's my bias for now, that we're gonna get a deeper correction before we actually go now. But we'll let the market guide us, right? Okay, next pair. US dollar CAD. Actually shorted this one last week. As you can see there, I've got this entry indicator there, indicating stop loss and targets and entry level. I'm just going to clear everything. All right, so US dollar CAD, I've been saying, I'm not going to repeat the way we're looking at this. So I'm just going to go higher time frame and just show what's going on there. If you want a detailed analysis on this one, go to last week's webinar. This all explained. So here, I'm just going to show you that we had this impulse here and this whole correction here. You see, this whole correction was finished. So last week's video will show you, that is the video on the 7th of August, will show you how we labeled this correction and how we knew that it was going to end here at this point exactly. So then after that correction, then we were expecting this move that will be equals to this one, most probably. And that will make a big zigzag. So what we said is, every time the market retraces or makes a flag, we are selling it. Retracement, we are selling. Now, we said last week that we wanted a deeper pullback. So this is the pullback that we were looking for. And we're going to be looking to sell this as when it finishes to, when it breaks out of this structure. I'm already short on this pair. Okay. So go look at last week's webinar, the webinar on the 7th, or even the webinar on the 31st of July. Right? It explains this in detail, this labeling of this correction in here. So we'll be looking to sell US dollar CAD, actually short US dollar CAD. Okay. This is where we entered another trade. So remember, we took it from here. We're about 1,300 pips around this area. Okay. But now we keep adding as we go down. Just go down lower time frame. So this is what happened here on this flag. So we had this flag here that has now been broken with this candle, and now looks like it's correcting under the flag. It's actually confirming our bias. So another flag here is giving an opportunity for another sell. My overall target on this one is 1,55. That's 1,000 pips more from this current level. So let's see what the market does. In the meantime, if you have not entered yet, you can, let me clear the drawings. You can wait for this small flag that is currently forming. Let me go to the 1 hour. It's going to the 1 hour chart. So this is the 1 hour chart. This is the control. It has broken this. This has been broken, and it is now forming this flag again here. So on the break of this one, you can sell again. For those that don't have screen time, you can put in a sell order just under this line here. My mouse is drawing skew. Let me just show it clearly here. So this is the flag that is forming, or the correction that is forming here. You can sell a clear close under the flag. If you do not have screen time, put in a sell order at this level, that is 26.50 area. You can put in a sell order. So this will be a sell stop here under this area for a move down. Okay, I'm only looking at for sells at this on this pair. So that's what we're looking at on US dollar CAD. Okay. Next pair, US dollar chief. This dollar strength at the moment. So US dollar chief, just to show on the weekly how we're looking at this. Also, this one was discussed last week. The overall structure was discussed. We're looking at a leading diagonal in wave A here. Okay. It's a leading diagonal in wave A. Okay, take this off. Right. So we had the impulse. And then we're getting this leading diagonal. You can see the leading diagonal is divided into 3. And this one here divided into 3. See, this is not so clean. This is practical. It's not theory. So you'd find that the market does not operate as cleanly as when you're doing the theory and just putting on lines. Okay, so that's a nice example of why you need to be alert and know how to apply the theory correctly. All right, so there's another 3. Know the leading diagonal has 3 waves in every wave. So all the waves in the leading diagonal are subdivided into 3. So this 1, 2, 3 in 1, 1, 2, 3 in 2, 1, 2, 3 in 3, and then in wave 4. Okay, wave 4 is a little bit tricky, so we need to see whether we've got a 1, 2, 3 already, or whether the whether we're still gonna complete it. So here's what could be happening here. So here we could be on 1, 2, 3. It's clear again. 1, 2, 3, giving us then ABC in wave 4. So wave 4 could be completed here, and we could be going for a wave 5. Right? So for us to confirm that it has happened, we need to get an impulse and then a correction above this line to confirm that we're going for wave 5. So let's see how this is behaving in the lower time frame. This is the weekly, so let's go to the daily to see what's going on here, to see how we're going to trade this one. We're actually long on US dollar chief from day before the NFP. So euro, we entered a short just before the day before the NFP as well. Okay, so this is what is happening here. This is what I'm looking at here. Wave 3 needs to complete 3 waves before we go to wave 5, right? That's our wave 5 over there. Let's see what's going on here. It's a bit far. Let's just pull it closer, fix it a bit. Right. So this could have done this and that, completing an ABC in wave 4. All right, as you can see, after that completion of that wave 4, we got this impulse move up. So we don't know whether this is now going to form a corrective structure here to give us a confirmation that we are now ready to go. So we may be going, because as we've just done on the dollar index is upside, and this is a US dollar with the Swiss is the base pair here. So we would be expecting that it may do something like this. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens here. If we get a break out of this pattern, then we get something like this, that would be our confirmation to go. Because that's the US dollar index looking at the daily. So if I just go down to the 4-hour chart to drill down just to see exactly what is happening in there, you can see that it is possibly forming a larger corrective structure. So it could be forming a larger corrective structure. Okay. Or another option, or what could have happened, is that this could have been an impulse that ends in an ending diagonal in wave 5. Okay. After wave 5, we get an A, B, C, and then we go, right? But overall, this is the corrective structure we're looking at. We just want to break out of it to go long. Right? That is US dollar chief. New Zealand US dollar, as I said last week, we were looking for pullbacks and it has worked out perfectly. This one, we've got a nice deep pullback, although similar to the Euro US dollar, that pullback was not enough. So I'm expecting a bit more on this pullback. So let's just go to the daily and just show why we are trading New Zealand dollar the way we're trading it. So all the dollar pairs, dollar, as I said, it's strong. Just take off the labelings. So I know I did this one last week again, but I'm going to keep updating this chart because we spoke about the fractal here. And this is actually this is the fractal that we're looking at. So what I said here, I said there is a leading diagonal in wave A. If you can, you just need to draw it clearly. I don't know what's wrong with my drawing tool today. So we're going to draw this one. Let's try again. Much better. Okay. Leading diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we get an A, B, C. Okay, but notice something. We get this impulse up here and then this correction here. We had this impulse up here and then this correction. We had this impulse up here and then this correction. And do this one. This one here. Here. All this giving us the leading diagonal. Okay. Let's just draw the impulses as well. You can see the impulse in 1. This impulse in wave A of 3. This impulse in wave C of 3. This impulse in wave 5 as well. But what we said is, what we are looking at here, this whole leading diagonal is one wave. And this wave is an impulse similar to 1, similar to 2, similar to 5. But this one on the larger degree. So I am expecting that after this correction, we get another impulse similar to what we have here. So I'm expecting this swing to behave similarly to this one here. So this is what I expect this to do. You see we had the yellow impulse. We had the yellow impulse there. We had this yellow impulse in wave 1, right? So this is what I'm expecting now. I'm expecting that we're going to get this red 1, 2. This red, this red 1, 2. And then after that, we get this, which will then take us to wave 3. So for now, we are here. We are here. So we may get a bounce up and then come down. So this is what I'm looking at with the New Zealand US dollar. And this whole thing, what it will do is that we're going to have a big A, B, C, giving us this big wave correction in between C, you see, and this will give us a zigzag. So far, so good. It's going well so far. We are currently short Euro New Zealand, so we'll see how it plays out. So see how these structures and patterns clearly gives us nice trade. And this is a nice, good example of trading fractals, similarities. So that's Euro New Zealand. Sorry, that's New Zealand US dollar. Okay, I'll just put up the drawings just to so you can see how we label this. This is the leading diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In between, we've got WXY, which are labeled as ABC, and then we got this swing now, which is similar to this. So now we're getting this pullback, which is similar to this. So we may be getting this bounce. We may be getting this bounce, and then another pullback, maybe to the trend line before it goes. Okay. At the moment, I don't have a specific new trade on this. I can just go to the 4-hour chart just to check what is happening currently. Okay, you can see that that upper boundary is keeping it, in check. So basically, all the upside movements are being kept on the upper boundary. So the only time we would look or we'll know that this corrective structure is finished here. You can see this going correctively. It's not going impassively. We will know that this is done when this does this. We get an impulse, and then maybe a correction above here, and then we'll know that we're ready to go for our wave 3. But for now, we're still correcting. You can see it's still on a down. Similar to the Euro US dollar, we're still on a down. Audi US dollar, similar. We were also calling for the pullback for the same reasons. You can see we had this pullback. So last week we were here when we were calling for this pullback on Audi US dollar. So similar to New Zealand. So if I switch everything off and just go a time frame higher to show how we're looking at these as well, and the reason for this pullback, why we're calling for the pullback. Okay, just need to change color. So we had the impulse down. We had wave A. See, wave A is here. So under wave A, we had this B. And just to indicate what B looks like, B is this structure here. Remember, B is always in 3 waves. Okay. So after that, this move was completed. So this is what we had here. And this was at equal legs of this one and this one. This is why we were expecting these to give us this pullback here. A deeper one. We're looking for a deeper one. My drawing is not so clean today. So we're looking for this deep pullback here. And then on break of this pullback, which we can see that it's already going correctively, then we'll be ready to go long again. And that will mean US dollar weakness again. Okay. Before we do US dollar ZAR, let's just do gold. Gold is working out perfectly so far. Gold also was a pullback that we were anticipating. Just gonna load up gold here and indicate how we looked at gold. So gold was an interesting one, very clear structure. I'm gonna put it on 4 hour. Just loading up gold now. Okay, so this is the gold chart. As always, we always identify the impulse first, and our impulse was coming from there, going down all the way there. So this impulse is currently being corrected by this W, X, and then Y, which is out of the screen here. Okay, and then if we just join this up, W, X, Y. Last week's video also indicates this clearly. And then we've got the red degree, which is just a degree under the yellow. You can see this gives us a zigzag. Under the yellow, we've got the red. Remember here, we're just looking at patterns, and this is a good example of a regular flat, does not break the extreme, just ends around the area of wave A or W. Okay, so this is what we were anticipating, that this red will do something like this. So we anticipated a deeper pullback, but it got out of this correction. And when it got out of the correction, we knew that it was time to go along with gold. We actually, 2 weeks ago, when we were here, we wanted it to give us this pullback in green. So we'll just show in a moment how we get the pullback in green. So the green is a degree lower. It's a degree lower than the red. Just do this and maybe draw it. So you can see that under the red degree, we've got this WXY in green. WXY in green, WXY in green, WXY in green, WXY in green, WXY in green. Every wave under the red. Okay, so here, last week, gold was here. Now, 2 weeks ago, we were here on gold, and we wanted it to give us a pullback in green, which is what it gave us here. And we got our entry, and now we are in profit by this, in this way, on this wave up to here. Okay. So this is where we are. So it completed this WX in green, and then it completed this green WXY. Okay, from there, we completed this red X. And now we're looking to complete the Y. It looks like it's going down now. Okay, it will be best to take half the profits and move your stop into profit on gold, as we have traded this one 2 weeks ago. But I'm still anticipating that we will go higher on gold, even though it is going down now. Okay, just clear and go lower time frame. Okay, we're actually on the 4-hour time frame now. I'm looking at this big candle. Remember, you should not be scared of the market. Just because the market is making a big candle to the downside doesn't mean the downside has begun. So we just need to monitor this and watch how it what happens from here. Okay. So those who trade support and resistances will be saying that this is turning because it is now at a high supply area. Okay, but we need to watch what's going to happen here. You shouldn't be too quick to say we're ready. Okay, we're getting a bullish engulfing candle here, maybe on the daily, but let's see what happens. This can still do this. and then we complete this move, right? But for now, looks like it's turning back. If you bought it here, take your profits, half profits, and put your stop loss there. And to profit nicely into profits. If you bought with us 2 weeks ago, move your stop there at an X, take half profits, and watch what happens here. Okay. Right. And if it gives us this correction, after this correction here, it will be an opportunity to put in some more again. So that is gold. Don't be scared of the market. Stay with your analysis unless something changes in your analysis. So far, just because the candle has gone down here does not mean my analysis has changed so far. So I'm just going to monitor it and watch it. My stop is here, so I'm in profit. It will take me out on a few profits. Okay. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so that is gold. And then Audi New Zealand that we've been talking about for the last 3 weeks. I'm going to go through it again just to get an update on where we are on this pair now. Okay, I'm going to switch it off and put in a higher time frame. Daily. And just show what we're looking at on this pair. Okay, so what we have here is a very clear impulse wave. This whole move is an impulse. It's an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you take your tool, you'll see that your wave 3 is well above the 1,618 of the extension of wave 1. So it complies to the rules. So after that, we get a correction A, a B. So initially we thought this was going to be a B, but it looked like it's giving us more correction. So let me just label the correction in red. Okay, I'll just label the A in a different color, and then the other corrections in red. So this is what we thought was going to happen. We thought after this pair was going to go. I was actually long from around here. Okay, after the end of this expanded flat here. So I was actually long, thinking that it's time for it to go. But it looks like it is not. It's giving us a double 3. So this is what we're looking at with this double 3. We are getting another corrective structure here that will possibly do something like this. Okay. And then that will be, if I had to label it, the first structure will be a W. Second structure will be a X. There's this first pattern, the zigzag corrective structure. So we're going to have a WXY. Okay, giving us a double 3 correction. All right, so if we get here, as I said last time, we're going to be selling for about 1,300 pips. Because then this, actually, I just need to correct the labeling here. Okay, let me just do this here. This is the primary that I'm looking at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, and then a B. And this B is in the same degree as the A, right? Okay. And then under the B, we've got 3 waves, which is 1, 2, 3. So this is why I'm labeling this W and X in a different degree because it's lower than this one. So this is what we're looking at here. And then after the Y, WXY, then we go. So this is a clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, 3 waves, B, and then the impulse again. So this is why I'm expecting this to come down to around the 1 area. And then if it does come to that area, then we'll be buying and making a lot of money. But that's not going to happen overnight. Let me just bring out the labeling here just to show what we're looking at. So we are short at the moment on this pair, as you can see, because of that we want the B wave to complete. Just loading up, loading a bit slow. We want the B wave to complete. There we go. Okay, so last week, this is what we saw here. We had this impulse, and then let's draw it. We had this impulse, and that's going out correctively here. So we just need to get this to complete, to confirm that we are going down. I'm already short on this pair because initially we had this trend line like this. Let's just take this off. Okay, and then just put up this upper boundary here maybe. Actually shorted it when this reversed here or this candle here. So a break of this trend line here and a correction will give us an indication or a confirmation that we are really going down. I'm already short anyway, but for now, this is not a convincing impulse. It looks like it's still corrective, so we may still get a move up before we go down. But either way, if that happens, it will just take us off here on break even, and then we're gonna short it again here. But for now, the trade is short. The trade is short like that with a stop over there at 881. So we'll need to watch what happens around this area, what the price action is going to be, whether it breaks and corrects, then we go, or if we're going to get one more up, then we go. Either way, we'll still take the trade. Okay, next one. Audi Chief. Now looking at the Audi pairs, I'm loading up Audi Chief. All right, so that is Audi Chief. Go higher time frame, day. Looking at the daily. We had a big leading diagonal. We actually have a leading diagonal on this one. As you can see, it complies to all the rules. Right, and similar to New Zealand US dollar, But the difference between this one and the leading diagonal in New Zealand US dollar is that the one in New Zealand US dollar has already completed this move like this, and it is now here. Okay, so after the leading diagonal, what we expect is a W, X, Y, right? Or an ABC, depending on what structure this is in here. Okay, but for me, when I looked at this structure, it did not look like 5 waves, it looked like a 3 wave. So this is why I've got W, X, Y, and we are expecting. Okay, let's just show this diagonal. Let's show the diagonal. So as always, we start with the impulse and this ending diagonal actually. Sorry, this is an ending diagonal because we've got a wave A and then we've got a wave B. Right, so remember, an ending diagonal happens in wave C and in wave one, in wave 5. So this one is a ending diagonal in wave C. We got an A, we got a B, and then we got this ending diagonal in wave C, complying to all the rules. After that ending diagonal, you can see the wave C here. We got a new move down. This could be a 1 corrective or a 2, and then we get a big impulse move. All right, so this does not look like an impulse. So that's why I've got WX, Y. So there's a reason why we label them WXY. That's because the market can trend in corrective structures. This is what we teach in our courses or seminars. Okay, so this trend line has been broken to the downside. This could be a 1, 2, 3, but we don't know if it's going to behave like that. And this is not a 3, this is not a 5 wave impulse, and this looks like a 3 wave, right? So what I'm anticipating here is this impulse move to the downside. Okay, have not entered this one as yet. What I need to do is, this is what I'm going to do. This is the daily time frame. Go down to the 4-hour time frame. We already had the break of the trend line, so now we just need to get a correction. We just need to get a correction here for the move up, down. Okay, let's do that. See how we're correcting here. So we had the move down, which is now correcting. After this correction, it will be an opportunity to sell for a couple of 100 pips. Okay, so that's how we're looking at Audi Swiss. So look for this flag to complete or break to the downside, and then sell it. Audi CAD, interesting one, very nice structure on this one. Let's go higher time frame. I also indicated this one in detail last week. And why? We already showed on this one. As you can see, I've got this entry calculator here. It's been hanging like this for the past couple of days. It just refuses to go. But let's look why we're looking at it the way we're looking at it. Switch off the analysis here. Just put it in the weekly. Just loading it up. loading Audi CAD, loading up pretty slowly. Let's just do this again. Okay, there we go. Did this one last week as well. We'll just do it again, just for an update, because we are short on this pair. So we have this impulse move to the upside. And after the impulse, we get this correction. And you know this pattern. You know this pattern. And there's a new pattern that is starting to form. Let me do this one here. You know this pattern that is starting to form here. Possibly do something like this. So we've got 1, 2, 3 corrections. And in between, we've got these ones that are sub-corrections. For lack of a better word, I call them sub-corrections because they're in the same direction as the impulse. You can see the main corrections are opposite the impulse. This one here, same direction as the impulse, giving us a nice, this one, this pattern is a W, and this pattern is a X, and this pattern is a Y. You see the ones that are in the same direction as the impulse are always X. You can also call it, it's also called the XX, but I just call it the WXY, XZ. So when this completes here, we will be expecting, undo that, we'll be expecting the impulse to continue. So we've got this impulse here, this whole correction here in between, and then we expect after the correction ends, it will go. We've got a W, X, Y, X, Z in the higher degree. So at the moment, we are still here. And the reason why I'm short so that we can complete this trade to the downside. And this is a weekly chart. Okay, so from 1 up until around the 92, 94 area, that's about 400 to 600 pips that I'm shorting for this pair. So just to clear and just go into and drill in here and just to show why I'm short on this pair, I'm going to go to the 4-hour time frame, show that trade that we're looking at. Okay. So in anticipation, see, wherever I have this entry indicator is the trades that we are currently running. All right, so this one, we just want a break of, let's get the pen out. So after the ending diagonal, that ending diagonal ends here at Y. And then after that, it gives us a wave W in blue. And then a wave X in blue, which is not on the screen. And then a wave Y. That will complete that Z that we were looking at down here. All right, so that's what we have. The ending diagonal ends, then we get this move down, W, X, Y. Right, but this Y does not look like it's completed yet. It looks like we still have one more down. This is why we've got this short trade here. And if I just clear everything out here, the reason for shorting this one is that it broke this trend line. And it broke, made an impulse, corrected, and then we shorted here. But then it is correcting again. And then the break here can be shorted again as per this trade here. Okay, so we're looking to short this one. It's got a CAD on it. CAD is a quoted pair on Audi CAD. Similar to US dollar CAD, CAD is a quoted pair. So we are expecting to correlate the same way to the downside. That's why I've got a short on Audi CAD. I've got a short on USD CAD as well. Okay, next one is pound US dollar. Okay, going higher time frame. See that we also have a leading diagonal in wave A on this one. I'm not going to clear all this now. Okay, so this is we've got the impulse, move to the downside. You can see that we've got a clear leading diagonal with 3 waves there, 3 waves there on wave 2, 3 waves on wave 3. See, it complies to all the rules in wave 4, 3 waves, wave 5, 3 waves. And this is where we shorted at the blue box, where we were anticipating that this will be equals to that. So exactly at equal legs, which is the blue box, we shorted pound US dollar. So this is the daily chart. So if we go down to the 4-hour chart and just see what's going on, we're expecting this to go all the way. Just loading the lower time frame, the 4-hour chart here. So this was the wave 5, which was the end of the leading diagonal. So what we have here, what we have after the diagonal, we had this strong move to the downside. And now it is giving us this corrective structure here. So after this correction breaks out here, you can short again. We may get a deeper pullback similar to what we have in Audi CAD and Audi Chief, giving us this to be a WX and then an impulse to the downside. You can see we still have this trade here for a couple of 100 pips. We still have this trade that we can trade back to X, but this may be slow because it will be very corrective. So I usually don't prefer to take these ones because they can take you through an emotional roller coaster. So normally I just leave these ones, and then when this breaks, then we'll get a nice impulse to the downside here, because this is a leading diagonal. Okay, so this is a 4-hour chart. You can wait for this structure to complete here. It is still under formation at the moment. It's not yet completed, but we are short from the blue box here. So we just let it run, and then maybe we'll take profits after we start getting that deeper pullback. Okay, so that's pound US dollar. Next one will be, let's look at pound New Zealand. I'm not going to look at every pound pair. Pound New Zealand. We're going to look at pound JPY as well. Just loading a bit slowly. There we go. Let's go daily. Okay, so pound New Zealand is a nice, interesting one. So here, as you can see, if we get it drawing out, we had this impulse to the downside and was corrected with a clear double XY, expanded flat. Then after the expanded flat, we got another impulse move. And currently what is happening with that impulse move is that we are under correction. So we don't know what's going to happen with this correction. So this has pulled back, but it did not break the extreme of this one. Has pulled back, has not broken the A. It's possible that we can break here, the A, can break the A, and then we get a further move to the downside. Okay, so let's just drill into this area where we've got this correction and see what is going on, whether this correction is completed or not. Okay. So another thing on this pair, if we just draw this correction, so this you can see this expanded flat, and then we could be having this zigzag that could come and break this top, and then this will correct like this. Okay, you can see using Elliott wave, you always know way in advance where the market is gonna go. So for now, we are in this correction. Let's go drill into that correction to see what is happening there. I'm gonna go into the 4-hour chart and just look onto this correction. Okay, so that's the 4-hour chart. I'm gonna clear out the drawings. All right, so this is where the trade will be. Remember, that is that second impulse that I was talking about here. This is the one. I can just draw it again. That is that impulse again. And this the red one that I had drawn here. We've got this correction. That does not break the extreme of the impulse and is now going to the upside. So we don't know if this could have broken this one to be a regular flat, but it has not. Instead, it made this impulse to the downside. It made this impulse, undo. It made this impulse to the downside, and now it is correcting. So if this breaks, then pound New Zealand, we're going to get this trade to the downside. So let's watch pound New Zealand for this down move here. Okay. Otherwise, if it can continue to do this just up until it breaks this top, and then we can reverse. But either way, if this is broken before we break the top, it's still fine. We'll still go down with it. So that is the trade. Let me just repeat what I just said. We've got this main pattern that did not break the extreme of the impulse. That could have been a regular flat. If it had broken, just broken here and reversed, then it would have been a nice regular flat. But now it did not break. Instead, what it did is it made an impulse down here and a correction. This correction here. Let's go on with my mouse. Instead, it made the impulse down and it is now correcting here like this. Which, if it breaks out of this correction, we're going to have this trade. We sell it from here. But what could also happen is that because this was not broken on the top side, this can keep on doing this until it breaks the top, and then we reverse. So then we will sell it higher. So that will be the trade. on pound New Zealand. Okay, for now, this is what we have. We're just going to monitor it and see what it does. It's more or less likely to go down because we have the impulse and the correction, we should go down. But either way, it will give us an indication of what it's going to do first. We've got the bias on that one. Pound JPY. Pound JPY, just remove all that. It's actually behaving the way we want it to behave. Okay, it's in the blue box. And the reason why we're looking at pound like this is that you can see that we have already gone long from the blue box here. Let's take that out. So pound, we had this impulse, which we are expecting to complete at the blue box. But maybe let me rather go to the higher time frame. If you go to the previous webinar, the last 2 weeks, you'll see how detailed we did this. And this is the 4-hour chart. So what we have here initially is this impulse here. And then after that impulse, we've got this correction. Okay. And this correction ended here. And then we were expecting that this impulse will give us equal legs. But as always, we know that the market does not move in a straight line. So now, we are still anticipating that we're going to get this move to the upside. When I put up the labelings again, you'll see that the blue box is here somewhere. This is where we want this. Okay, so but then this needs to do this first before going up. And the reason why I'm saying this should go down here is because of this. If I go even lower, a degree lower than the green, maybe a purple, there's this zigzag here that has got these equal legs. So this is why I went long here. We went long here based on this equal legs, giving us this entry in anticipation for this to complete this yellow move. You see the yellow move? So this is the yellow move. And that yellow move is a correction of this big impulse here. Right? So that would be a W, X, Y in yellow. You see, the higher degree is yellow. Under the yellow is the red. Under the red is the green. And under the green is this purple. And this is how we entered in the lower degree in anticipation of the completion of this yellow, because this yellow is still short, still incomplete. Right? So this is why I'm going to bring up the labeling now again. This is why we've got a blue box there. And this is why we've now entered a long on pound. a long on pound JPY. Okay, US dollar JPY. Has made a 50 pip move to the upside this morning. It's going according to the US dollar index, which we are expecting upside. So US dollar index, US dollar JPY has got a very clearly defined structure. So I'm just gonna show it again. We've been short on this one from up here. I'll show you why just now. So here, this one has got a very clear structure. You've got an impulse here. This is our impulse. Change color to red. This impulse, you've got this red zigzag. Okay, and then we've got this one in yellow. The reason why I label this one in yellow is because it's a correction, but it's in the same direction as the impulse. So what am I anticipating? I'm anticipating that I'm gonna have another corrective structure. I don't know whether it's gonna be a flat correction or a zigzag, but whatever it's gonna be, it's gonna end up going all the way down. And that's where I've got the target of 104 from the break of this one here. So this would be, if we were to label it, this whole zigzag will be a W, which I will represent like this. And this one in yellow, I always label them X and Y, right? So this is Y, and then this will do something like this. And then we've got an impulse and a correction A, B, C. A very clear structure. So this is why at any point now, we are anticipating that US dollar JPY, just use the color that I usually use, should give us a correction. We don't know if this correction is going to be deep. If it's deep, then it's going to be giving us a possible flat. And then after that deep correction, we'll be selling to complete the Y. And then from the Y, we will be expecting this structure to do A, B, C. See there. So that's what we're expecting. So let's just drill down into the 4-hour chart to look what is happening here. Looks like we have a bearish engulfing candle here on the daily that's forming. So now let's go to the 4-hour. Hourly chart. Remember, this is where we entered the short after it made an impulse and the correction. Let me just zoom this in here just so it can be clear. So this was that sub correction in yellow, and we knew when it ended. Just put in the drawings. When this trend line was broken to the downside, that's when we knew that the correction was done. So we made this impulse, and then we got this correction, and then we shorted. Just do this again. So we got this impulse, and then it corrected. That's when we took the trade here. Because we were still anticipating that it will get to the blue box, maybe break this top, but it did not break the top. It exactly turned right at the top, which was giving us a regular flat. Just show that regular flat. This pattern here, this sub correction here, is a clear regular flat. See, this was the impulse, correction regular. does not break the extreme, and it reverses around the area of wave A or W. So we thought that it would possibly break it and get to the blue box over there, which it did not, but that was fine because we still get confirmation that the correction is done because it will do this and corrects, and that's when we took the short trade. So now, excuse me. So now we are anticipating that we may get a deeper pullback. It can be 50%. If it's 50%, then it will give us a zigzag and then go down, or it can even reverse deep, giving us another flat correction. If it reverses deep, that will be giving us a flat correction before I move down. Either way, we will know if this happens, we will know that this is done. When this is broken, we get a flag and then we go down. That's how we're gonna trade this. But for now, if you want to trade this to the upside, this is what you need to look at. You need to check the break of this downtrend here. Okay. All right, so any impulse, we've already got the impulse. We need to get something like this for us to confirm that we will now be getting that deeper correction. For now, we've only got an impulse, and an impulse up doesn't mean anything. Even if it breaks the trend line, it still doesn't mean anything. We need to get some sort of a correction to confirm to us that we are ready to go. Okay, so that's US dollar JPY. Next one that I want to look at now. Let's look at Euro New Zealand. So Euro New Zealand, initially, I wanted to sell it here, and I'll indicate why. Just draw the impulse. Here's the impulse on Euro New Zealand, and then we got this correction. And let's draw it properly. We've got this correction. W, X, Y. Right, so now what am I anticipating? I'm anticipating that this correction, this one here, will be finished, and then we'll get something like this. I don't know what structure this will be. So you'll find that some people just drawing it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, going all the way down. So we don't know if it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or a WXY. There's a difference between an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a corrective structure WXY, whether it's corrective or it's trending structure. All right, so this is what I'm anticipating. I'm anticipating a down move. Whether it makes a zigzag or a flat correction, it doesn't matter. All I know is that it's going to go down. I just don't know which structure it's going to form. Okay, but we're ready to go down on this structure. Okay, so initially, let's get the drawing again. Initially, I thought this was going to do this and then go. And I actually sold when this was going up correctively here. Okay, we went down and then it came and took us out for break even there. But now the bias is still the same. We're still anticipating this to be over here. We've got a clear A and a B in the lower degree, so that we can get this trade here. And we can see this for now, because it has not broken this extreme of this impulse. For now, this is a regular flat, which could reverse any moment now, and then just come and breaks the low here. So let's monitor this one. Nothing clear so far, but we know what we're anticipating. We'll see if we get a reversal there. If I go to the 1 hour time frame just to see what's going on here, it looks like it's correcting. It could give another one more move up, but it's going to be a very short move to the upside, which is not safe to enter. So this is the 1 hour. Or actually, this will be a nice point to enter. If we look at the 1 hour, look at the 1 hour on this one. On the 1 hour chart, see on the 1 hour, we already have this impulse move to the downside. And it is already making this corrective structure there. It's already making this corrective structure there. So it's actually a nice trade here. We just want this to be broken. If this breaks to the downside, we are short. So monitor this one. We're going to be shorting this one again here. Nice impulse and a correction. Good indication of going down. So monitor that one. Okay. Let's look at oil. Somebody requested Bitcoin last week, so we will look at Bitcoin after this one as well. Now we're going to look at oil. So oil, if I go to the higher time frame, daily, and I'm loading oil now. Oil, a very nice impulse on oil. Okay, we discussed in last week's webinar, we have an impulse, and then we're getting this clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulse. My tool does not want to show the drawings there. Okay. In any case, I'll just show it. Let me just try one more time. Okay, my drawing tool doesn't want to work anymore. But in any case, this is what we're looking at with oil. We've got this clear 1, 2. Once again, we've got a 3 here. And we're building up a 4. 1, 2, 3. We're building up a 4 because now we've got 1, 2, 3 waves here. That will give us a 4 before we get a move to the downside. So we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4 on the higher time frame. Currently, we are in this corrective structure that could be a zigzag. As you can see that it has now retraced to about 38%. Normally a zigzag, if it was going to be a zigzag, it will retrace to about 50%. So possibilities are that we may get one more down here. We may get one more down to this area before we go and complete wave 4. But there's a reason why I'm thinking that we're not going to get that one more down, because if we go down to the lower time frame, say to the 4-hour chart, something interesting there. The reason why I'm thinking we're not going to get that one more down is because we already have, I will actually use this one on trading view itself. We already have this impulse here. And then after this impulse, we are getting a correction or a corrective flag above the trend line, which after it breaks out, then oil will go then and complete that wave 4. But this can be even deeper. Okay, so if oil is going down and it's getting a deeper correction, that means CAD will be weak, which means the other CAD pairs will be strong against the CAD. Okay, so we need to monitor this flag formation here. This flag formation here to see with the direction of oil. For now, it is just making a corrective structure above above this structure. So only when it breaks out of this structure will we know the direction. Okay, so that is oil. And lastly, Bitcoin. Bitcoin has just been on an up move forever. And this is how I'm looking at Bitcoin. I'm just going to do an overview, higher time frame for this one. Okay, we're busy loading Bitcoin. This will be the last one that we look at. Any other pairs with specific trades will be sent exclusively to the premium group. We'll do a video specific for the trades that we're going to take. For now, I'm going to do Bitcoin. Doesn't want to load. It's just loading Bitcoin here. Trying to load it up. So hang on. It will be done just now. Okay, well, Bitcoin doesn't want to load, and at the moment I've got Euro New Zealand we already discussed. So let me try to load Bitcoin again. Okay, it's loading now. So this pair has just been on and up and up. There we go. That's Bitcoin. So this is the whole market data available on Bitcoin as far as September last year. This data only goes back as far back as last year. But in any case, what I'm looking at here is a WXY. We've got this corrective structure here. I don't know why this doesn't want to work anymore. But in any case, you can see that Bitcoin has just been on an uptrend forever. It has just been on an uptrend. And looking at the wave count on this, we had this uptrend which corrected around this area, giving us 3 waves, right? All right, so this one was also, it looks like it was a 5-wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which complies to the rules, A, B, C in between here. So then now we've got this 1, 2. This can only be a 3 if it goes above 1,61. So if Bitcoin goes above 143.66, we would have reached our wave 3. And then any time after wave 3, we'll be looking for a reversal. Not necessarily a reversal, basically a correction, which is wave 4. We know wave 4 is a corrective structure and corrects to about, or retraces to about 38%. So basically, we need to go to 4366, and then only then we'll anticipate a reversal. We are just 160 points away from this 4366 before we get this correction. So it's, as you know, we buy low, sell high. It's not advisable to just go into Bitcoin because it's on an uptrend and buy now, because you could buy it and it just reverses on you and then it takes you out. So we could get this correction here, and can even just be a sideways correction here, wave 4, before we go to wave 5. So Bitcoin, still bullish on Bitcoin. We're still going up. Only when we complete wave 5 will we look for a bigger correction. But for now, you can wait for this wave 3 to complete first, break 1,618, and then from there we'll start looking for a reversal. Then we get this correction, break out of this correction, then we can buy it to complete wave 5. All right, I don't know how long I've ran on this video. I can't exactly check the timing, but thank you for watching the video. Your feedback is welcome. My name is, I'm gonna write it down. You can find me on Facebook. Let me just put out my name over there. This is my name. I'm just gonna put it up in big text. On Facebook, you find me as Ndibu Victor Mangena. And the phone number, international, you can use +27 82 79 66 324. You can call me on that number. Or you can just send me an inbox on Facebook. We also have a Telegram trading group, but for the details on those, just inbox me and I'll give you all the details. Thank you for watching the video. Trade with care, risk management. Signing off. Bye-bye.